Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So, 60 days from today, I'm going to be going live and we're going to be getting our first results in from the 2024 presidential election with the Iowa caucus. And Iowa is that first state. A lot of people say it is the most crucial state, which is true to an extent, even though there have been many cases of people not winning Iowa and then going on to win the nomination. But Donald Trump is up big in Iowa, and he is up big everywhere. And we were told by the DeSantis campaign that the Kim Reynolds endorsement, Kim Reynolds being the governor of the state of Iowa, would change the dynamics of the race, and that Donald Trump was going to see a fall, and Ron DeSantis was going to astronomically rise significantly, and he would take Iowa, and it would lead to sort of a domino effect where he takes the nomination. And we get a poll that was released recently completely conducted after the endorsement that Ron DeSantis received from Kim Reynolds, and spoiler alert, Donald Trump gained in support. Ron DeSantis is stalling. He can't really poll above the mid to high teens, and Nikki Haley, of all people, is taking his donors away, and as a result, she's actually gaining, and in some states, she's leading. So in this video, we're going to analyze the state of the primary. We're going to kind of fill out the map for the first two states as well, based on polling, and we'll see what the race is really going to look like heading into February, and kind of showing how Donald Trump is likely going to get this nomination regardless of whatever happens. So we're going to get into this, but first I have to tell you guys about our latest sponsor over at Patriot Gold Group, because we've gone from $6 trillion in debt to $34 trillion in 20 years. There's a direct correlation to the national debt and price of gold. In 2010, our debt was $13 trillion, gold $1,000 an ounce, and in 2023, our debt's $33 trillion and gold's $2,000 an ounce. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson warned that our greatest threat to national security isn't Russia or China, it's our national debt. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention Red Eagle Politics and you'll always get best-in-class service from Patriots Protecting Patriots. Their consumer affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 7 years in a row. Patriot Gold Group has the no-fee-for-life IRA, where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for it on qualifying rollovers. So call 888-857-8696 and get a free investor guide today, or visit the link in the description down below. Once again, 888-857-8696. So this poll came out of Iowa. Donald Trump in a resounding first place. He leads by 36 percentage points. He's almost doing better in Iowa than he's doing nationally in many polls, where he's polling in the 40s. So what it does show is that if this poll ends up being accurate, that DeSantis is spending so much time and energy basically living in Iowa, running an Iowa-centric campaign, and it's not getting him anywhere. He's down there. He can't even crack 20% despite spending a ridiculous amount of money, going out there basically abandoning Florida, where his approval ratings are dipping for the state of Iowa. He's hanging out with Kim Reynolds all the time. Her approval rating has actually dipped significantly this year in her second term, even though she had a very high approval rating back last year when Donald Trump campaigned for her, but apparently she decided to endorse DeSantis. And it's not really moving the needle. It's pretty hilarious, if anything. And Donald Trump still has a resounding primary lead. But this isn't really the only state that he's leading by a lot in. I mean, you could look at DeSantis in the state of New Hampshire. You could look at the New Hampshire poll that we saw. There were two that came out. And DeSantis is at 7%. He's below Chris Christie. Chris Christie is at 9%. He's basically a meme candidate. He's a joke candidate. But still in New Hampshire, he's polling higher than DeSantis, possibly because he's banking on some people from the left or these independents coming in and voting for Christie, because he's the one out there just shilling never Trump talking points 24/7 on the debate stages. Nikki Haley, on the other hand, is polling at 18%. She has seen a massive gain because she's focused a lot of energy on New Hampshire. She's got the influx of donor money, but it's a waste of time and money regardless. Donald Trump's going to be the nominee regardless of whatever they do. They were propping up DeSantis. He fell on his face. Now they're going out there propping up other people like Nikki Haley as a Hail Mary. It's not going to work. It's not going to move the needle, especially because Trump's base is solid. They tend to be loyal, and they despise Nikki Haley, even far more so than they may be agitated or irritated with the nonsense that the DeSantis campaign is doing. So you're looking at this across the board. Donald Trump maintains the lead. The primary's over. It's been over. And you could say, well, we haven't had any votes cast yet. How can you say that? But these people say the same thing, that if Trump is the nominee, the 2024 election is over, despite Donald Trump leading Joe Biden in almost every single poll. He leads the RCP average by like 2 points. He's polling, his baseline right now is like 46, 47% in the aggregate. But still, they think Trump has no shot in a general. But DeSantis has a clear, wide open chance at victory in the primary. It's ridiculous. These people in the GOP establishment that are trying to stop Trump are going to have a ridiculous amount of egg on their face come January, regardless of whatever they do. And you look at the polls nationally. The polls nationally will show that Donald Trump leads by 44.2 percentage points. And they will say there's no national primary, which is true, but this is the aggregate. If Trump is only winning by 30 in Iowa, he's probably up by 50 in a state like Michigan. And this kind of just aggregates it. At this rate, Donald Trump's winning every single state. He's polling at a near 2/3 of the Republican base already on his side. DeSantis is down there below 15%. He's actually gained a little bit of a dead cat bounce, but it's not moving the needle. Nikki Haley's there below 10%. She's seen somewhat of a modest rise, but it's, if anything, only eating into the DeSantis numbers. And you look at these people down here, a lot of these people even dropped out, and we could ask where these candidate support's going to go, but it's negligible at best, and it's probably going to be split between Trump, DeSantis, and Haley to the point where it's not really going to make much of a difference either way. Trump's probably going to gain stronger if he wins Iowa, even if he wins it by less than expected. Let's say he only wins it by 15. He's probably going to win New Hampshire by 25 or 30. South Carolina, DeSantis is going to be left in the dust because it's Nikki Haley's home state, and Trump's probably going to have a resounding victory there as well. Super Tuesday, he's going to be winning these primaries by like 50 percentage points, and it's going to only increase from there. He's going to have a much, much larger primary victory than he even had back in 2016 when it seemed like he was winning every state by a ridiculous margin. And they'll try to drop out, coalesce behind one candidate. But let's say somebody like DeSantis drops out. A lot of his supporters, like in the real world, not like the Twitter influencers, but still a lot of his supporters do still like Donald Trump, the people in the real world, and many will just fall in line, vote for Trump at the end of the day. Somebody like Nikki Haley, if she were to drop out, even some of her supporters in the real world probably don't like DeSantis, because DeSantis would be in second. If they really hated Trump, why wouldn't they just back DeSantis? They clearly don't like him for whatever reason. Some of them very well could just go directly to Donald Trump. So regardless, Donald Trump is pretty much knocking on the door at 50% in Iowa. In some polls, he's above that. And in New Hampshire, he's leading by a similar margin there as well. A recent poll was released that actually has him at 42%, and it shows Nikki Haley gaining, but Haley's not going to win New Hampshire at the end of the day. It's highly doubtful that Trump would win the state by any less than 20 points, and then you get to South Carolina where he leads by over 30, and then you get to Nevada and Michigan where there have been several polls where he leads by 52 points in particular in Nevada. So either way, let's put this on the map here, because the delegate count will be what people watch as you get closer to Election Day. And let's say that Donald Trump goes out there in Iowa, and I'll even be generous to the non-Trump candidates. I'll only give Donald Trump, let's say 52%. I'll give Ron DeSantis probably around, 18%. Nikki Haley, because she's rising with the donors, we'll give her 15%. Vivek probably gets like 2 to 5% in there. and the rest of these candidates probably split whatever's left to the point where, okay, we have a little bit left over. Maybe we will give that to Vivek there, not all of it, and then we will give the rest here, let's say, to Haley. Donald Trump has a major delegate lead. He has all the momentum. If he wins the state of Iowa by any reasonable margin, there's no massive momentum for any one of these other candidates. He's got a majority of the delegates out of the gate. Then you could go to New Hampshire, which, let's say the independents cross over and they turn out, which lowers Trump's margin, which honestly, there's no guarantee that that happens, but this is like a worst case scenario. Let's say Haley does get over 20%. Christie is going to get like 13%, and DeSantis is left in fourth place there. And okay, we have 9% left over. We'll even get Trump to 50. We'll probably give the rest of these. We'll even say DeSantis can have the rest of those. He can tie with Chris Christie. It's his consolation prize. Okay. Donald Trump out of the gate, 32 delegates. Nobody's even close. So when the people actually start voting, even if Trump wins these first primaries by less than what the polls show, he's still going to have this appearance of having all of the momentum moving forward. Then you could go to South Carolina. Trump's probably going to get, let's say maybe at this point you will see somebody like a Chris Christie drop out. And Donald Trump's probably going to get around 56%. So let's say it's a three-way primary. Vivek drops out. A lot of his support probably goes directly to Donald Trump. And then let's say you have Haley down there. Let's even say she gets like 28%. DeSantis goes out there, gets 16%. Again, being very generous to the non-Trump challengers in this video to make a point. Donald Trump out of the gate with 60 delegates. Nobody's even close. Nobody even has half of that. So then you go to Nevada, where polls show Donald Trump winning big. Let's say at this point he is able to go out there, even though it's like a caucus state, get over 60% of the vote. Haley probably has a little bit of momentum over Ron at this point, who's really going to be struggling down there. But either way, look at that. Trump with a massive delegate haul out of Nevada. Then you get to the Rust Belt states that are these primaries. You get to Michigan. Trump clears in Michigan. He has that appeal among the Rust Belt worker base in Michigan, the blue-collar white voters that may not turn out for most other Republicans. He goes out there, clears the board. DeSantis and Haley are going to be down there. Haley might get some of these like Oakland County wine moms or whatever, but Trump's going to be getting close to 70% there. More likely than not, boom. I mean, there you go. If Haley and DeSantis are both in this race until that long, then you talk about Super Tuesday. What happens there? And there was a poll that came out of DeSantis' home state of Florida. Trump is beating him there by like close to 50 points. And it's insane because DeSantis was supposed to be the guy to challenge Donald Trump for the nomination. How has that exactly panned out for him so well? He's down there in third place in many states. He's banking everything on Iowa, just so he can lose it by, 20 instead of losing it by 40? And he still might lose it by close to 40, given how some of these polls have gone. But just hypothetically speaking, this isn't even a prediction of the first 5 states. This is a hypothetical where Donald Trump doesn't even do that well in the first few states, but still gets the momentum because that's how this works. He's going to be in a massive lead. Polls show him winning Texas by a lot, Florida by a lot, North Carolina by a lot, California by a lot, to the point where the delegate haul is only going to increase. And it just shows that these challengers are going out there. They're just wasting time. They're wasting money. And that money could be used to help Donald Trump and other Republicans go out there in 2024 and defeat Biden and win big. But they're just sitting back here wasting their time. And it's quite sad, honestly. It's quite sad that they would even go to that level just to try and get rid of him, because they just really have this vitriol. There's this disconnect between the donor class and the establishment and the actual voter base. And it shows, but you're going to see that unfold, and you're going to see what the voter base has to say in reaction to them come next year, come winter time, come 60 days from today, where the Iowa caucus will end up voting. So that Reynolds endorsement, not moving the needle. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.